Okay, so hi everyone and welcome to spiritualonline.org, and for those of you who don't know me, my name's Roger Richards and I've been on this spiritual journey for about 30 years now. It's been a lovely journey, and part of the reason I'm on here is to share and open up spiritual journey for everyone so we can help and support each other. And when I started on my particular pathway, there was no internet, there was no Zoom, there was no meetups or anything like that. It was very hard to get information, and so this is kind of an extension of just trying to bring spirituality and make it more accessible to people all around the world. I certainly don't profess to be a guru or an expert or anything like that, but just someone who's quite passionate about this, passionate about who we are, why we are here, what is our deeper purpose on life, and being able to manifest that. So welcome along. And we run 2 live interactive sessions every week, of which this is one of them. And I live stream part of the sessions, usually from here for the next, 30 minutes or so. Then I usually end the live stream and we go into a more informal, more personal interaction with Q&A, sharing, so forth. Okay. And part of this session will also be run in a meditative kind of vibe. I will take us into a meditation, and some of the information will be channeled through. In fact, I prefer to channel things through than just tell you stuff and regurgitate things that you can probably see on a few other YouTube clips or in a few books. So because I will be channeling some of this, and maybe there's a couple of other people in the group here who are regulars who do so as well, it's very important for us working on those levels to set up the protection and our intentions to work accordingly. All right, so just going to encourage everyone just to close their eyes for a few moments. We just take a few deep breaths and we just take ourselves into a different zone. So I just set a general intention for the group to start with. Normally I do it a little bit more deeply in, but I'm going to do it right now, and you can set your own personal intention as well. But Great Divine Spirit, our intention for this particular group is to explore the themes of contracts, soul contracts, vows, decrees, and the karmic connection that ties us to these. And we're also going to be looking at how, if appropriate, we may release ourselves from some of these binds that have quite a deep influence upon our life. Okay, they're not all negative, they're not all positive, and some do serve a purpose that we will explore a little bit more deeply. But we'll just take a few breaths in to begin with, just breathing in through our nose. But as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine that you're actually breathing in light into the center of your head. And part of this is to disconnect a little from the mundane world that is around us, and to honor and connect a little bit more directly to our spiritual or higher aspect. So just imagine that we're breathing in light and breathing into the center of our head. And then hold our breath for a few moments. And then just on the out breath, just relinquishing any residual emotions that we may be carrying. And some of this is even just a little bit of anticipation, or that little bit of anxiety even from being in an interactive session like this, particularly if you're on here for the first time. So I haven't greeted everyone personally just yet, but again, welcome along. And as we're breathing in again, we're just breathing in light, holding our breath for a few minutes when we've taken in a good amount of light, and imagine that it is expanding through our head center. And then on the out breath, when it's time, again, just trying to neutralize our emotions, whether they're happy, sad, excited, whatever, just neutralizing it, so that we're also in more sentient connection to our higher being and to our angels and guardians. So part of this session is not really just me here speaking or other people sharing information with you, but it is actually for you to have a direct connection to your higher self, to the angelic realm and to open up aspects of your own Akasha, which will serve you far more deeply than anything I've got to say to you. Okay. Now, the gateway to higher consciousness and to access these realms is through our chakra system, and we'll go through our chakra. It's like a chakra awakening. We'll go through it quite quickly. And as we do so, first we'll just imagine the light around your auric field. Just be aware of your auric field, where it is. And some of you will perceive the light around it. I'm actually seeing angel wings at the moment, so but there is an energy field around each of us. And now just imagine or project into that field that it is pure. It is a zone of purity. It is a zone of clarity, purity and divinity. And in doing so, anything of a negative earthly nature will just fall away and just assist in your personal clarity for this session. And now above your head, just imagine above your head your crown chakra, and down through our crown chakra, a gentle stream that connects us to the multiverse. It's always there, just flows through us, and within this stream is all that we need to know about ourselves, about why we are here, about what's holding us back, about what binds us, etc. But for now, just imagine it's flowing down through us, down through our torso, down through our legs, down through the arches of our feet, and deep down into Mother Earth, connecting us to the most innermost chamber of our Earth Mother. So the planet Earth herself has karma, humanity upon the Earth has karma and a mission, and we personally have our own personal karma and mission that interweaves with that. And now we're just honouring the presence of our Earth Mother and the secrets that she holds for us, and enabling her, or recognising her energy coming back up through our feet, back up through our being, and connecting back out to the great multiverse, so that we are connected in a beautiful, perpetual flow between the spiritual and the physical. Now we move down to our third eye, and the purpose of focusing on our third eye is for right thinking. And this, for doing any kind of spiritual work, it's very important to have clear objective thinking as distinct from subjectivity and a lower self and the lower emotions which can come in and affect the way we do our spiritual work. So just imagine that within our third eye, within our mind's eye, we may see things in clarity, their truthfulness, knowing that we can be opening the door and developing our ability to receive spiritual pictures, to receive spiritual concepts, and all else of perhaps a psychic or esoteric nature that will assist us. We move down to our throat chakra, which gives us the ability to access the truth, deeper truth, and the deeper power in words, not only that we receive, but that we speak to one another in kindness and mindfulness. And down to our heart chakra. And when you strip existence right back to its core, we exist here in this world because of an act, or a prolonged act of dedication and love. And we're just now recognizing that we are manifested out of love, and allowing that love to flow in through our heart center, as distinct from the forces in our society which are at times very counter opposite to love. So this is just to rejuvenate and reconnect with the forces of unconditional love from the spiritual world. Call it Christ consciousness, but it is divine, unconditional love that helped to create and manifest us here in our world. Now we move down now to our solar plexus, which is very significant for now, because given the density of the earth and the density and the configuration of human thought, this is a portal which enables more of our higher aspect to be able to dwell within the lower densities of earth. So we have started to activate a field of divinity around us which enables our higher self to be more present within us. We're raising our vibration and raising the possibility of connecting to the deeper secrets of who we are and how we are configured. And now that we're a little bit more present and that we've activated our own field of love and our own field of divinity, now just imagine that field like a heat wave is expanding right across your room, purifying your room, filling it with your own aspect of divine love. And in doing so, making it more conducive for the presence and connection to your guides and angels. We now move down to our sacral chakra, a beautiful orange portal of light. And this connects us and gives us more consciousness to our feelings and emotions, which have a lot to do with the way we think and the way that we be. And our soul can play out quite a lot on this level. And finally moving down to our base chakra, the life essence itself. And here we can draw in the vital life force through this beautiful bright red portal, enlivening our physical being, but also drawing in an aspect of courage. Courage and abundance over that of merely fight, flight or survival. So this sense of courage and abundance welling up, igniting our powers of creativity, rising up again to our solar plexus where we can connect and resonate more clearly and directly with our deeper soul purpose. And now with our soul purpose, rising it up through acts of love in this world, rising it up to all that we speak and all that we receive, rising it up to our mind's eye, that what we receive will help us in this domain. And then all of our efforts again being aligned harmoniously with the multiverse that is around us. Now we're going to start out in the great multiverse and imagine a time before we incarnated into this life. And we look down upon the world, and a few things we realize when I descend into that world, when I'm born and I emerge as an infant, certain things are going to happen. And one of those things is I'm going to lose pretty much direct access to the spiritual world. I'm going to be in a fairly unconscious state spiritually. And that means I'm very much going to be open and subject to the forces of the material world. That being the case, how can I assure myself of staying on track and fulfilling the real purpose as to why I'm descending to earth in the first place? And so therefore we may put certain things in place, certain events, certain conditions within the soul to avoid us straying in a certain direction, almost like having the blinkers on or having a rail that we have to sort of follow along, but certain things which may bring limitations as to what and where what we manifest in this world, or what doorways are open for us. We have free will, but with free will and unconscious spiritual awakening, we perhaps need some guidelines, some supports, some structures, which as we awaken may need to be taken away because I may be a little bit counterproductive. And this is a very personal thing for each of us. For each of us have a different configuration of personality, a different soul configuration, a different karmic configuration. And depending on what you've done in all of your past lives leading up to this point, depending on how you have reconciled and worked through those lives in between lives and assessed what would best now help you on this soul journey. Each of us come with a different configuration of programs. It's just like a computer program. Think of your computer, think of all the programs that run in it, the different things that they do. Sometimes the computer has a mind of its own. It doesn't process and do the things that we want it to do. Some of the programs are a little bit counterintuitive, and sometimes our life is a little bit like that. So we're coming into this world with certain programs within us, which, okay, now because we have had numerous past lives, there are other things which come into play here as well, in that we have and tend to travel in soul groups with different people. And as you sit right now, you may consider, well, hang on, it's not just me. Most people consider their life and their soul contracts and their vows and everything else as if it's just you. But from the spiritual world looking down, it's about all of humanity. This is about all of us. But we tend to incarnate with particular soul groups, whether it be our family, our partner, our children, some workmates, whoever. And there's certain things that are placed in our lives, certain agreements that are made that, look, when we come down to earth, our auric fields or our energy fields will vibrate in such a way, perhaps the law of attraction and the law of detraction, which you repel people and you repel situations, but eventually we can be drawn in to particular situations, and you can meet that person that you think you've never met before, but somehow you felt you've known them all of your life. And there's just this chemistry between you, whether it be as a loved one, or could even be as a musician, fellow musician playing in a band, or a teammate playing on the sporting field that you just have this symmetry with. But then we can learn from one another as well. And there's a big difference here between being a spiritual being and being a soulful being. And the presence of your spirit here on earth and your high divinity, it is conditional upon the state of your soul and how your soul has been developed to house your higher spirit. And some part of coming to earth may not actually be to house your higher spirit as such, but to simply to have human earthly experiences, and for those experiences to be fed back to the divine, the great mind, the great creative mind. So we aren't all necessarily here as the servants or the angels of the divine, but we're also here as extensions of the great consciousness of the universe, to explore, to experience, and to return that back to the great universe. So this is a place of freedom. It is a world of freedom, of free choice. And when we return, this is a question that I've put to people before, and the question is, well, when we return, are we going to be placed in a position of judgment from, let's say, God? Well, my response to that, well, where is God? Well, God is everywhere. Well, if God is everywhere, where are you? Well, you're right there. Well, God must be there too. So God must be within you, and you must be an aspect of God. So then when you leave this place, who's going to judge you? It's going to be you. You're going to be your own judge. And it's a little bit different to that too. It is because, well, when you leave here, how is your auric field and your soul going to vibrate and resonate? And it will just gravitate or levitate to whatever frequency that is. So that's a little bit like the reality of it, as distinct from a person sitting on a seat judging you. Now let's just cast a few things aside here as well. In order for you to fulfill your life purpose, you may have certain arrangements or contracts in place. Now, some of those contracts may well have expired, but they're still running. And so it's time to put in the end clause and be released from them. So part of what we're going to attempt to do today is to release ourselves from essentially expired contracts that no longer serve our higher good, but are like just running like these nuisance programs in the background, just blocking our way. And then we also have vows. And it could be then in a previous life you may have done a particular series of actions that haven't helped humanity. And then you've been determined, look, when I return next time, I'm going to do this. I vow, and I'm definitely going to work for the higher good, or I'm going to put myself in a position where I have to do X, Y, and Z. And so there may be vows put in place, and that you have done that work, or those vows are causing significant imbalance in your life right now. And when things are imbalanced, it affects your emotions. It affects many things, but at the end of the day, it affects your capacity to fulfill your higher purpose. So there's certain vows that you may need to be released from, but still be working in that direction to achieve whatever those vows set out to be. So not all vows, not all contracts, etc. are negative things. Some of them do help us, but some of them have served their purpose and need to be dispensed with. So there are certain things that you have agreed to and that you've put in place before you've incarnated into this world. There's certain things that some of your friends or family or workmates or teammates or musician friends or whoever have also put into place. It could have been that in a previous life you saved someone's life. And maybe they've vowed this time that when we come back, they're going to look after you. And look, you might have someone in your family who overly mothers you. And maybe because that's the person you saved and they're trying to repay you for that through their act of love. So when we consider how people, say, behave towards us, maybe there's reasons for it, and maybe there's contracts or vows on their side which are interfering with, how would you say, a very fluid, harmonious, balanced relationship between you as well. It's just skewed things a little bit too much as to being that helicopter friend or that over-caring person, etc. It could also be this friend who you feel a deep connection with, but they're like cold as ice. And it could be that you've made a decision that you're going to work on a particular project together. But if the ice melts and everything heats up, then things will fall apart and the relationship will get in the way of the work. So there's all these little configurations that can play out in our lives. And there's also things that can work against you as well. And it could be that in a previous life, there was a situation where, say, there may have been some infidelity or something in your life, or you may have been unfaithful, not necessarily to a person, but to a situation or to a task or a job or whatever. So you have then made the decree that when you come this time, you'll be 100% faithful no matter what. And so you incarnate, you come here. And somewhere down the track, you make a decision to be with a partner who's an alcoholic and abusive, and they probably was not necessarily the person that you were meant to be with. So the question there is, well, you've made a decree or a vow, but is it actually serving your highest good? And no person deserves to be subject to abuse or anything like that. So the question, most likely in all eventuality, is no. But we find people who have been disempowered by these vows that are playing through them, working through their subconscious mind. Or perhaps a better way to put it is to working through their superconscious mind, because these were placed there before our subconscious was manifested. So there's things in our subconscious which go back to our early childhood in particular, which have set up certain patterns within us, which is more environmentally conditioning than necessarily a contract or a vow or a decree or anything of that nature. And that is a completely separate area of your being. Okay. And that, of course, there is an interplay between what happened particularly in our early childhood and also with any trauma in our life, between that and soul contracts, decrees and vows, etc. Now what I'd like you to do, I've sort of spoken somewhat intuitively. Now I want to perhaps go a little bit more deeply into another zone here. And we'll go back to this picture that are around you is your auric field, this beautiful field of light that is around you. And I want you to imagine now that this light it's building up in a soft way, but it is permeating right through you, that you are being enveloped within the light. And this light is traveling right down through your legs, right down through your feet, and deep down into Mother Earth. And this light is also now expanding right across your room, so you are totally enveloped in this light. And within this light, we're going to go a little bit more deeply into the light, knowing that we're going to be safely connected with it, and we can step out of the light back into our earthly seat whenever we want to. We're just going to go down a few layers a little bit more deeply into this light, into the innermost chamber of our spiritual aspect. So we're just going to go down 10 little steps into the deeper chamber of our inner self. So just stepping down the first step, just going down a little bit more deeply now. Going down the second step, we're going to be stepping into our own sacred space that we've protected. Going down the third step to the fourth, going down a little bit more deeply. And we're just knowing and asking that our guides follow us, that a gatekeeper is with us, and that this space is protected by the great divine spirit. The angels are with us, lighting the way. We step down to the fourth step and the fifth step, down to the sixth and seventh, a little bit more deeply, down to the eighth, ninth and 10th step. There's just a little veil of light that we can just literally float through into this innermost chamber, and we can literally sit ourselves down, float ourselves down on a seat of light. Now there's like crystal energy all around you, and you can look, it's like a dashboard almost of crystals, crystal light, crystal portals. And it is possible for you, if you wish, to choose one of those portals and either reach into it or just look into that portal. And it will reveal something about a contract or a vow or a condition that you've passed on to yourself. And it could well be that you've placed yourself into a position where it could be a condition of maybe a lack of abundance, so you're not drawn into the material aspects of this world. But now that you've discovered your spirituality, you could be as abundant as you like in this material world, and it will not pull you off your pathway. It could be that. It could be a vow that you've given to yourself of austerity, that you'll be really strict with yourself, extremely disciplined, because of maybe some errant ways in the past, but now you've risen above that. You do not need that austerity or that strictness, and maybe that's something that you could walk away from and be more fluid in all that you are. It could be that the people who were in your life before needed hardness and strictness and coldness, but now there's been a shift from that. And what is needed now is your absolute warmth, your absolute heart-soul connection. So there could be this little barrier there that you put in place that is no longer needed. And it's time for that to dissipate. You can probably think of other aspects in your life. It could be in terms of relationships, it could be in terms of success, it could be in terms of confidence, it could be in terms of unlocking doors to higher success, where you have limited yourself until such a time that you are ready for the successful or the success to be attracted to you. It could be that you needed to clear something in your life to allow love to flow to you. Maybe you decided that because of what happened in a previous life, you would do without for a while to understand perhaps solitude. But now that time may have come to an end. You have learnt the lessons associated with it, and it's time to move on. So many possible combinations and configurations for each of us. And it could be that in the past, for example, you didn't want to hear the truth. You just wanted to be in your world. So now you may have that be brought into this world with a partial hearing loss because you didn't want to listen. You didn't want to hear. And maybe that could fall away. The ability to see things. Give yourself permission to see things, to see the truths which are inconvenient. May your vision be improved. So I would like you to take this opportunity of reaching through one of these portals and seeing if there's a contract or a vow that you have placed into your Akashic field here, which is working with you. It may be working to your benefit. It may be working neutrally, or it may be something that is to your detriment now. Just reach in there. It could come to you telepathically, what it is. It could come to you through your emotions. And just be aware, or even use your imagination as to what could be there. Now, we know that what has been put there is closely guarded by the angels, and so you may need to ask for permission for your earthly self to see what is guarded in the Akashic records. So if nothing is being revealed to you just yet, you just appeal to the keeper of the records, to our angel, that if it serves our highest good, may aspect of these vows, decrees, or contracts be revealed to us now, that we may work with them objectively for our highest good. And just let that sit with you for a few moments. As you sit there, I'm just going to speak generally, just to invoke some powers that will help us move through these contracts. In the esoteric world, we speak of the rays that are coming into this world, and one of the more recent rays, the 8th ray that people speak of, is the ray of transmutation of this planet. And Lord Kumeka, or the Lord of Light, ascended master of another universe, is meant to projecting this light upon the earth and upon humanity. And Lord Kumeka is meant to be in charge of planetary cleansing as part of our transition to what we could call 5th dimensionality. And contracts, vows, anything that does not serve our highest good should be rescinded, dissolved. So we're calling on the presence of Lord Kumeka to work with us in the pursuit of our highest good. Light workers also refer to Vows, an ascended spiritual teacher who helps light workers awaken their inner power and their spiritual gifts. So we just call on the presence of Vows. We also call on the help of Metatron and the other archangels, Raphael, who help with our healing and with our clearing and cleansing. And may they sit, or their representatives, sit in presence with us at this time. And indeed their presence, their vibration is universal, and it is really just our own acknowledgement that activates the potential of their presence around us. Now we'll attempt to do a clearing of what some of these contracts or vows may be, but what I'll ask you to do before that is, if you're in one of these portals, just retract back into the light seat that you were in this light chamber. And now just see if there's another portal that is around you. And now just explore what is within one of the portals that may present itself to you. It holds some secrets about who you are on a soul level. Now this is soul knowledge, not intellectual knowledge. It may not be encoded as intellectual knowledge. It may be just soul essence, soul frequency, soul vibration. And it may be that what you are actually seeking to do here is not to know anything intellectually, but to harmonize the frequency of various soul components that are within you. So without judgment and without necessarily having to analyze what is within these portals, but just becoming aware of their existence is perhaps sufficient at this time. And we will just retract from that portal, and we may do just one more. And again, just use your imagination if you're not really into the zone. Imagine there's a portal just before you. It's like a doorway to memories within the Akashic record of your innermost soul. And they are preserved in this world, because if they are transported to Earth, the lower frequencies of Earth may obliterate part of their memory and their meaning. They're held in a place that is pristine, that you may re-access. And within the Akashic record itself may be an Akashic offering, that because you have accessed this record, there are frequencies within it that you are now accessing that are perhaps the key to your healing or your overcoming of any adverse contracts, vows, etc. that are within your soul. Now just allow yourself to relax in this place of light, just sitting in the light seat now, and allow whatever was in these portals to gently come into the room. If it's too much, just say to your angel, it's too much, just switch it off. But if it's safe and the frequency is okay, just allow these portals to be opened, to the vows and the contracts to be freed, eventually freed of what is binding them into these, let's say, safe houses or unsafe houses. Now I will go through some words that will help us clear these, and one of the reasons that we're in a meditative zone, and if you've drifted out of the meditation, try and now place yourself back into a meditative mode. If this is done from what is referred to as the theta level, the more powerful it will be. Now just do this silently for yourself. Just say I, state your full name, renounce and rescind and cancel completely all decrees, vows, promises and contracts that I or my ancestral family has made, which no longer serves my higher good. Now I will repeat that, or you can repeat it. I renounce and rescind and cancel completely all decrees, vows, promises and contracts that I or my ancestral family has made, which no longer serves my higher good. And this applies in all timelines, across all dimensions and incarnations. And I ask that Metatron, Lord Kameka, the Lords of Karma, witness and assist me to be fully released. May all of my soul fragments and power be returned to me for my highest good. I also ask and offer forgiveness for any misgivings that has brought any karma, all these vows or contracts into being. And through my offering, and recognition of any wrongs, may they now be righted. So as my soul power is returned to me for my highest good, all my soul fragments, and these contracts, decrees and vows being rescinded and dissolved, it is done, it is done, it is done. I now surround myself in pure gold shimmering light, healing, cleansing, purifying, harmonizing back to the great oneness of the multiverse, intelligent, responsive and divine. full of love, full of light, full of peace, love and harmony. Just allowing that light to work right through us, right down through our auric field, right down through our etheric chi force, working down through our nervous system, working through our circulation, breathing it in through our air as well, taking it into even our digestive tract, absorbing it into all of our inner organs, the beautiful golden light, recalibrating, healing, shifting into our muscles and tendons and ligaments, right down to our skeletal system, right down through our feet, deep, deep down into Mother Earth, through all of our ancestral connections here on Earth. When within the realms of Earth, there is the realms of all the nature beings and nature spirits to whom we also have karmic connections. And we're asking that this beautiful golden shimmering light be extended to our connection with the beings of earth, the beings of water, the beings of air, beings of light and fire upon the earth, bringing us back in harmony with our whole earth being. On this beautiful shimmering light coming back up from earth, back up through our feet, back up through our legs, back up through our torso, back out through our chi and etheric force, through our auric field, up through our crown chakra, and back up to the higher universes from which we descended and incarnated from. Flowing through to our higher self. And then like a gentle stream of rain, descending down to other aspects of our greater soul, which may still be dwelling in a combination of the spiritual world, in a combination with other worlds and other existences. And in doing so, again, reconnecting with any soul fragments in these distant places, and now streaming them back from vast cosmic distances and space, back through to our higher, greater soul. And that which is needed to now come back, not only through our crown chakra, but also through our solar plexus, where our higher self incarnates more directly. We just ask that our angels, for this is one of the tasks of the angels, is the preparation of our auric field, that they work now with our auric field to help make the adjustments to integrate what we have just done within the subtle energy bodies of our being. And now for us to extend our gratitude to our guides, to our angels and archangels, to the ascended masters who have worked with us, and to other divine celestial guardians who have been working with us in this particular session. We also thank all the beings and nature beings of the earth who have provided our life here on earth for us, our life body, our environment. And we also extend our gratitude to all of our soulmates, our loved ones, the people we've been travelling with, that they have made perhaps sacrifices to come to this earth as well, to endure, sometimes to suffer, sometimes to prosper. But we just give our acknowledgement to all of our loved ones, all of our friends, all of our teammates, our fellow musicians, you name it. We are all here together. It is not just us. We are all rising together, living together, loving together. And may we be able to live as one. Okay, now just place your hands now over your solar plexus sacral chakra area. We have opened ourselves up to lower frequencies somewhat. Just need to close that down, particularly people who will be going out into the wider world very shortly. So just taking in a deep, long breath. And as you hold your breath, just imagine your sacral chakra and your solar plexus slowing down a little bit. And now we're just going to step back out from this deep chamber that we're in, back into the wide world. So just imagine that you're standing up from this light seat. And we're just going to go back through this little veil of light. We're going to go up through 10 levels, back up 10 levels, so just on the 10th step, and up to the 9th, up to the 8th, up to the 7th, to the 6th, to the 5th and the 4th, up to the 3rd, up to the 2nd, all of our energy fields coming up with us, up to the 1st step, back into the physical room that we're in, into our auric field, being aware of our body, being aware of our feet, and our hands and arms, of where we sit. And now just imagine a beautiful bubble of light to seal in all the goodness, to seal in the healing, and the reconfiguration that we have activated. So for people who are watching the live stream, we're going to end the live stream right here, but I really thank you for being part of this, and feel free to put any comments in to the comments below, and to like and subscribe, and hopefully come and find us and join us either through Patreon or through my website. But I'm really pleased that we could make this offering to you. Okay, so we'll just bring this to a little close, and hopefully see you all again. Many blessings.